a group of about 50 world religious leaders has been working on these spiritual principles for climate repentance. You can find it all on the following URL, www.climaterepentance.com, climaterepentance.com. What we're going to do now is avoid speeches. We will battery-less, prayerful.
Speak into it.
Hello. We're going to enter this in a prayerful spirit. So what we're going to do is the following. We will be led by sounds, silence, and our... After that, there's time to talk and to share. But we're going to start by having a moment of silence. Then we're going to sound the conch. Conch is a Hindu sign of auspiciousness, blessing, beginning. We'll begin with the conch. Then the bell will sound between each of the 10 principles to be read from the scrolls that everyone is holding in his hand. And bell after each principle, it's a moment of silence for all those gathered here. Even if you didn't know you're capable of being silent, you're going to learn that today. And then after that moment of silence, the bell will ring again, the next principle we read, till we get to the end. And then we conclude with the sound of the shofar, which is the analogous to the conch, sound produced from a natural, from a ram's horn, which in Jewish tradition is a call for repentance, and therefore we conclude this part of the repentance ceremony with the sound of the shofar. So okay, can I ask all the people who are standing behind the row to come move to the front of the row? In other words, Father Giles and all the wonderful people who are there, whether you intended to be with us today or whether you didn't intend to be with us and you were sent to be with us, come stand on this side so we have the view of London from the top here and everybody can see the front. Oh, and we have someone to read the 11th. He's the sign of the future. Wonderful. What's his name? and you need a beard clean, my friend. Okay. Okay. So who has the conch? You have the conch? Okay. So let's take one moment of silence to orient ourselves. I'm going to pass the microphone to Archbishop Rowan.
The leaders of the world are presently gathered in Egypt during this time of great international tension and conflict for the COP27 meeting. We support them with our deepest prayers and meditations. Theirs is the urgent work of addressing the practical challenges of climate change and negotiating between nations in an attempt to help humanity resolve the climate crisis. As religious leaders, we offer our voice as a contribution to the gathered leaders and to humanity. Ours is a voice of hope and unity, grounded in a spiritual vision. From this vision, offered as common ground between diverse religions, a positive attitude to life is derived that can inform practical decisions and negotiations. It can also give hope and meaning to individuals struggling under the burden of climate anxiety, seek to find their place and identify their responsibility at this time of crisis. We must also confront honestly the destructive habits which continue to limit the possibilities and the hopes of human beings, in a call for wake-up and self-examination. With the following 10 principles, we seek to initiate a process of climate repentance, broader understanding, and effective action. Many practical consequences can be derived from the vision set forth here, as well as from the individual principles we offer. Our call action, and a call to return to a true vision of the creation, the Creator, and the harmonious relationship of humanity with creation.
Creation is not our possession. The human person must recognize this and find his or her rightful place in relation to this fundamental fact. For some of us, this leads to a sense of gratitude for God's gifts and for the gift of life itself, wherein humanity takes its rightful place as partner and co-creator in advancing the life of all creation. For others, creation itself is sacred. Therefore, we recognize human responsibility to love and protect nature.
Creation is not simply external to God. It is in significant ways permeated by God's presence and being, manifesting the divine agency and reality. Such understandings are found in all traditions, whether as the universal view or as one voice among others. Alternatively, nature is permeated by the spiritual, manifesting ultimate reality in every particle. Therefore, we must treat all life with reverence.
Within creation and between humans and other parts of creation, as well as among religious communities, there is interdependence. All are part of a greater whole, wherein each element both receives and gives influence, impact, love, and growth. Therefore, we must care for each other and the planet.
The distinctive task of humanity is to nurture and serve this interdependent, life-giving, and so to resist the temptation to exploitation, waste, and harm. Acting in the interest of human well-being cannot be something pursued in separation from working for the well-being of the whole created order. This finds two prominent expressions. First, in a commitment to not harm creation and the responsibility to protect it. Second, a commitment to serve, to advance, and to aid in the growth and evolution of all parts of creation. Therefore, we recognize that we are and must be responsible for the well-being of all life today, as well as for future generations especially.
The human has capacities that are conducive to the realization of this vision, as well as forces that are destructive. Self-centeredness, greed, arrogance, and more are negative traits stemming from a limited sense of the human person. These have the potential to destroy humanity and creation. The soul, or the higher aspects of the human person, have the capacity to realize the fuller vision of humanity's role in the broader scheme of the meaning of life and creation. Therefore, a disciplined spiritual life is helpful in overcoming the challenges of climate change.
There is an inherent relationship between the human person within and the nature and objective reality without. Thought, speech, and action have the capacity to bring harm or to heal. Therefore, use thought, speech, and action only for the good.
Based on this understanding of the human person and his or her role in creation, the processes of growth, transformation, return, and repentance are fundamental to human existence. Therefore, the human person is benefited by the ongoing effort to purify, raise, and transform himself in view of a higher vision.
There are reactions when we harm the earth and others. Actions have consequences, and no action can be ignored. The weight of our actions and their short and long-term consequences lead us to find ways to mitigating harmful actions and to work for the good. Therefore, act knowing that every action counts.
Empowered by mind, reason, and spiritual understanding, we adopt a mindful and attentive view of the natural world. Therefore, take seriously the lessons and observations that humanity has reached by application of its mind in scientific study and through common reason and conscience.
Life of attentive, intelligent love is embodied in compassion, in openness to the pain and vulnerability of the world. Care for the other is expressed in love and compassion as fundamental spiritual principles. These are to be applied to other humans, human communities, and other parts of creation. Compassion means suffering with others, to feel the pain of the earth, of the poor, and of those who suffer the consequences of climate change. Opening our hearts to their pain will lead us to change. Therefore, we must be sensitive to the intolerable insecurities and injustices many humans live.